Hey y'all, Scott here, and apparently Smash Brothers only has 5 stages according to competitive play. Bunch of prudes. I personally have Rainbow Cruise blood in me, so in terms of my most wanted Smash Brothers stages, get ready for a whole lot of wackiness! Kirby and the Rainbow Curse was alright. The game was incredibly short and kind of forgettable for me, but one thing that I will always remember is the art style. My god, this game looks fantastic. The problem is, you had to look at the gamepad to competently play the game, so you can never experience the game in all of its HD glory. That's why I would dig a Smash Brothers stage based off of it. The clay aesthetic would look so cool. This mock-up is really simple, but I think there could be a lot of fun aspects to the stage. Maybe rainbow lines can be drawn and players could temporarily stand on them, similar to PictoChat or something. World Bowser is the final main world in Super Mario 3D World, and I want it. This is such a cool design for a world, and I would kill to have this as a stage. Maybe that clown Ferris wheel can be used as platforms and whatnot. I just think the music and design of this place is too cool to not have it be a Smash Brothers stage. Breath of the Wild is going to get a stage in Smash Brothers. It's inevitable. I think the most obvious contender for a stage would be the Great Plateau. It's the first area in the game, and you can easily see attractions such as Hyrule Castle and Death Mountain. I made this mock-up pretty simple, just as a floating platform in the sky overlooking Hyrule. I did this mainly because so much of Breath of the Wild is looking down at the world like this, whether you're on high terrain or paragliding through the air. I think this fits Breath of the Wild and would be a beautiful stage to boot. I love Tetris Attack on the Super Nintendo, and I want to see a stage based off of this game specifically. Now, the series is known as Puzzle League now, and has seen a few other entries such as Pokemon Puzzle League, Planet Puzzle League, and Puzzle League and Dr. Mario. Basing a stage off of these games would be a bit easier because Nintendo does not own the Tetris name, thus they had to rebrand the series as Puzzle League if they didn't want to get a not-so-friendly cease and desist letter. The problem with this is, I don't want these games to have a stage. I love the gameplay in Puzzle League, but the graphics and music in Tetris Attack make me feel. Just call the stage Puzzle League. The stage itself would play just like the game. The fight would take place on the game board, and of course the terrain would move based on the matches being made. Legal? God no, but I think this could be a really cool stage at the very least. Rhythm Heaven deserves so much more than it gets in Smash Brothers. A stage based on the franchise could be really cool and focus on rhythmic fighting. Like maybe if you time your attacks to the stage's music, you get bonuses like higher attack power or greater defense. Gotta embrace failure. That's definitely some advice in the form of words. Imagine a stage taking place inside a Virtual Boy. Well, I think it's cool. Nothing super complex about this one. It's definitely a stage everybody would hate playing on, but I think the concept sounds neat. Just going from Virtual Boy game to Virtual Boy game. Here we have Mario Clash as an example. Of course the stage could swap over to Wario Land and Mario's Tennis and Red Alarm. I think it would be cool. What ARMS stadium should be the basis for an ARMS stage? Why not all of them, or at least a good amount? This would be the ARMS Grand Prix, a traveling stage. This is Spring Stadium done in glorious colored pencil, and you can see an ARMS fight take place below while you fight above. After a while, the stage can fly over to another stadium, kind of like how Skyloft and Delfino Plaza work. I think that would be a good way to experience the diversity of characters in ARMS, seeing all of their respective stages within the ARMS stage itself. Waverace deserves a stage, just give him it. A fight taking place on the back of a jet ski, thanks. Inkopolis is going to be a stage, that's the easiest prediction to make. I based this off of the original Splatoon and would take place in the middle of the plaza in front of the entrance to multiplayer. Potentially there could be random ink puddles on the ground to slip people up. RadarScope is a failed Nintendo arcade game that is the reason we're all here today. It's kinda just a Space Invaders type game and it didn't do all too well. So Nintendo let Shigeru Miyamoto have at it and do whatever he wanted with the RadarScope machines, and he created Donkey Kong. So while it was a failure, it's the reason we have Donkey Kong and Mario and Zelda and Real 34. Why not have a Smash Brothers stage about it? Now either RadarScope would have to have a reimagined modern rendition for a stage, or they could do this, where the fight takes place on an arcade machine while the game is playing. Just like the Virtual Boy stage, I think it's cool when Nintendo looks back and acknowledges, pokes fun at, or just embrace their less than stellar ideas back in the day. There was a Nintendo Land Medley in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, and it hurt me simply because there was no Nintendo Land stage. Imagine how cool that would be, either overlooking the park, traveling to different attractions, or just the fight taking place in the park. Nintendo Land has huge potential to make for a great stage. A Star Fox stage in the style of the very first game. Like, it would look just like you were playing Star Fox on the SNES, but a fight's taking place on top of the R-Wing. The Andros Assist Trophy is already modeled after this game, why not have a stage based off of it as well? I think the easiest comparison to make for this stage would be Pilot Wings in Smash Wii U, and hey, I really enjoy that stage, so something similar to it would be fun. Picture this, a stage that transforms between various different stages throughout the Smash Bros. Series. Like, one minute you're playing on Sector Z, then the next you're playing on the Fountain of Dreams, and then you're playing on PictoChat. A bit of a Smash Bros. History lesson, or as I like to call it, a Smash Crash Course. I think it would be kinda cool. It would show the evolution of the series not only graphically, but design-wise as well in terms of stage layouts. Snipper Clips is a fantastic Nintendo Switch eShop game, and I think the game has some crazy potential to make a fun stage. I think it could be a stage where the layout changes based on how Snip and Clip tear it up. That could lead to some really fun and weird layouts and an ever-changing terrain. Kururin, or however you desire its pronunciation, is an obscure Nintendo puzzle series about guiding a spinning bar throughout a stage with various hazards and narrow passageways. The games were only released in Japan, with a few coming out in Europe. However, recently the first game released on the Wii U eShop here in North America. I want this to be a stage because imagine fighting on the spinning bar while you see the background spin behind you. Motion sickness can be a blast if it's a Smash Bros. Stage.
I can go all day on this. Seriously, people know me as the guy who can come up with Smash Brothers stages. Others are like, no way, and I'm like, Art Academy stage, and they're like, whoa, wait a second, man, and I'm like, Elite Beat Agent stage, and then they're like, good god, man, slow down, and I'm like, the Sanderson's house from Cheap Robo, and they're like, this man is a f***ing animal, he must be stopped!